Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to One Life Left, the world's longest running video game radio show, brackets, that broadcasts in the English language, close brackets. My name is Steve Curran.
Hello, my name is Simon Byron.
And today we are not just a radio show, we are, once again, the oldest men on Twitch. How does it feel to be back, Simon?
Yeah, pretty awkward, actually. I've never just had to sit through the theme before. I wasn't sure what to do.
I started nodding.
Look at it.
You started nodding.
I did that. And then, of course, we're seeing ourselves slightly out of sync, so we look like we're dad dancing, and we are dads who can't dance. So
it's perfect.
There we go.
Perfectly appropriate introduction to the show, and what a show we have coming up for you. It's an hour and a half, so it's a bumper special, and as such, we will be trying to wrap in all of the goodness, everything that we have improved and built on over the last year since we were last on Twitch, which means we will start with a news section in a little moment. We will continue with some guests, not just one guest, but two guests, maybe 2.5. And at the end, we'll have a little bit of a secret. Maybe we'll play a game live on Twitch for the first time ever. We'll have reviews at the end as well, and any other business sections as well, beginning with right now, Simon. Any other business?
No, just to explain that, this show won't run smoothly, but it never has done.
No.
So it's an hour and a half long. We're already 12 minutes into it, and we've been broadcasting for 2 minutes. So that's good. Also, we've got professional people in our ears. Normally, we will broadcast, we will pre-record as live, but we are going out live now, which means that we can't edit anything. So be careful what you're saying, Steve. And then usually, we've got cameras on, as Steve mentioned, which means that you've got a glimpse into the operational headquarters of One Life Left. What's going on behind you, Steve? What posters are there? I thought you were going to blur your background because they're offensive.
Well, listeners to yesterday's show will know that Simon asked, you're going to do a little bit of tidying before we go live on the internet. And spruce things up a bit. Hung a couple of pieces of art on the wall, closed the door to my bathroom.
Okay.
No one's seeing in there. Whereas you, Simon, you've got your usual shed chaos behind you.
It's shed chaos, yes. Fortunately, the camera can't see too far this way. I have covered it up with a Mario hoodie, but turns out I didn't need to. So we're good to go. We're all present and correct. We're shipshape.
Well, two of us are present and correct, but long-time listeners to the show will know that we've got a newsreader. Our newsreader, Charlesbot. Now, Charlesbot is usually hidden from the cameras. He doesn't like the publicity, does he, Simon?
No, indeed. He prefers to remain anonymous, and for reasons that we're about to find out, I would say. But we should explain the conceit behind Charlesbot, shouldn't we? First of all.
I suppose that makes sense. Now, we had a long-time reader, still a long-time news reader, still a good friend of the show, Anne Scantlebury, but she retired a couple of years ago, and there was a gap in the show. We didn't know how to fill it, but thankfully, AI stepped in to fill in the gap. Now, we needed to train AI on someone, so we thought, who would be the best qualified person we know to read the news?
Who's the Trevor McDonald of the games industry?
We went through a few names, didn't we? A few candidates, but we landed on our friend Charles. Now, the thing is, we didn't exactly ask Charles's permission.
And we believe that he's all right about it.
We think so. We think so.
But we still haven't asked him.
But maybe now would be a good time to ask him. Maybe now would be a good time to introduce, for the first time live ever, it's Charlesbot.
It's Charles. Charles C. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Simon. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. How are things with you?
Well, I've got I've got COVID, which is a bloody nuisance.
Do you?
Yes, I know. So, it's a shocker, isn't it?
Who did you get that off?
Well, I went to France. So what would you expect? What else would you expect when you come back from France? To caught something.
Right, really. We'll have to talk about your previous trips later in the show. But
we will.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How are you feeling? Is this the first time with COVID?
Oh no. But I was in Switzerland at the weekend, and I rode 30 kilometres across the Swiss lakes, just with the beginnings of it. And so by the end, I was feeling a little bit rough.
Incredible.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We should explain to those who don't know Charles. Who are you? That's them, not you, Charles. We know who you are. Charles
and I know who
is the creator of some of the most beloved video games adventures of all time, the Broken Sword series being the most prominent. We're delighted to have you on the show, Charles. So we usually get some AI to summarize news stories from across the internet. And what we've done, and then Steve does it in the back end. It then spits it out in your voice, and we get it to put some jokes in here and there. What we thought we'd do today was that we'd get you on to read out the AI prompts and just see how the two compare. How do you feel about doing that?
I think that sounds like a great idea. The only thing is, I hope that I read it better, although I'm sure I won't, because the AI,
let's find out.
Charlesbot has been so well trained now that he or they know exactly what to do.
Okay, so every show normally comes with 5 of the week's top news stories. Now, we recorded the show yesterday, so we've already covered this week's top news. So what we thought we'd do is pick 5 stories from earlier this year. And because the company that I work for, its financial year runs from April to the end of March, these are the 5 best stories of my current company's financial year. Here is the news.
Video game news with me, Charlesbot 1.1.
Am I reading the April news?
Yes, there we go.
Fantastic.
From April, starting in April the 1st, financial year 25 to 26.
Fantastic. Right, I'll get going. April 2025. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct has finally... Am I doing this right?
No, you're doing it too. I'm laughing because it's so close to... You sound almost as good as your artificial recreation, Charles.
I'm working really hard to be better, honestly. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct has finally graced us with its presence, revealing a treasure trove of details about the much anticipated console. The Switch 2 will launch with 46 third-party games, including Elden Ring and a new From Software title, The Duskbloods. Mario Kart World is now open world, and classics like Metroid Prime 4 and Zelda are getting enhanced editions. The console boasts a mysterious C button for game chat, and mouse controls, finally. A cheaper region-locked version will be available in Japan, and the GameCube controller makes a nostalgic return. Iwata might have rejected magnetic Joy-Cons, but persistence prevailed.
I mean, that was uncanny, Charles.
Unbelievable. It's like the real thing.
Isn't it? So, of course, the biggest news in April was the announcement finally of the Switch 2, which was trailed a couple of months before the Nintendo Direct. Obviously, it's not that long ago, but and the Switch has subsequently launched. But that was an exciting time, wasn't it, Steve?
It really was. I've got a question for you, Simon, though. How much has the Switch 2 been a portable device for you? Because for me, it's been almost entirely plugged into my TV at home, and I really haven't taken advantage of its portability. Have you?
I have, yeah. I play it almost exclusively portable, even when I'm at home.
You see, I thought that might be the case because your first piece of advice to me was to sellotape a battery to the back.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, that is my advice about anything. You can make anything better by magnetically attaching a battery to the back. Yeah, no, I've never had to use that, actually.
Really?
The battery life has been as bad as I feared. No, I thought we'd mod it before it's... No, I think it was Genki that came out with the peripheral that said that you could stick it to and they were charging 60 quid from it. Because I'm tight, I realised you could just buy the pieces independently. And
look, I've still got them right here. Positioner for metal ring, it says.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can install it live on air. But no, so I've been enjoying the battery life at home. I've been enjoying the software. Charles, have you got a Switch 2?
I share a Switch 2 with my son David. I still have the Steam Deck, and I love the Steam Deck. I mean, obviously, I love the Switch 2 as well, Nintendo. But we're spoilt for choice now. and as we'll find out in May, we have the announcement of another from Microsoft. So, you know, we won't know which ones to choose, will we?
I mean, you will know which one to choose because Simon is the One Life Left expert on handheld devices, and he has more than just a Steam Deck and a Switch, Charles. He has far more than that. How many handhelds do you have, Simon?
I've got more handhelds than I've got hands, Steve.
That's not very many, Simon, though. That's not very many.
No. Shall we move on to May's news story?
Right. May 2025. Microsoft, always the overachiever, has claimed the crown as the top publisher for pre-orders and pre-installs on the PlayStation Store in early 2025, according to CEO Satya Nadella. During a recent earnings call, Nadella highlighted a 5% rise in gaming revenue thanks to Xbox Game Pass, Call of Duty and Minecraft, despite a 6% dip in Xbox hardware revenue. Microsoft's strategy seems to be shifting towards a multi-platform approach with over 500 million monthly active users. Meanwhile, their AI sidekick, Copilot for Gaming, is set to revolutionize gameplay with the real-time advice. Because who doesn't need a digital buddy to tell you when they're rubbish at Overwatch?
Perfect,
Very
Charles. Good. Perfect. Everything is an Xbox, Simon, these days, especially the handheld that you hacked yesterday.
Indeed, but before we come on to that, Steve, that's June, I think you're thinking about. Let's talk about the uproar that there was about everything being an Xbox and all of Microsoft's games being on PlayStation. Turns out that the world hasn't ended, unlike the predictions from some.
Predictions
have you been enjoying? Not from us, no, but people who like to type, people whose all caps key is broken on their keyboard.
It is. Yeah. I was actually quite surprised. That's quite an achievement, isn't it, for Microsoft to actually be ahead of every other publisher on a PlayStation, on the PlayStation Store. I was really surprised when I read that. Obviously, I watch One Life Left every episode, but that one must have passed me by. I don't know how.
Watch us, Charles.
I listen.
People are able to watch us, Steve, when we record live, aren't they? They join the Discord.
Very good point, Simon.
Quite sure why you choose. Well, the reason why you would choose to is to hear the scurrilous gossip before we start broadcasting. Okay. But apart from that, you should do that. So yes, Microsoft games came to PlayStation, are coming to PlayStation. We're getting some Microsoft games on the Switch too soon. Starfield and Indiana Jones are launching early next year. So they are right. Everything is an Xbox. Should we move on to June? Charlesbot?
Absolutely. June 2025. The delightful world of handheld gaming just got a bit more crowded. Microsoft has unveiled the ROG Xbox, and I hope that's ROG rather than ROG. Forgive me, because Charlesbot would have got it right. ROG Xbox Ally, or Ally, a handheld device crafted by Asus, set to grace our holiday wish lists. With two versions, the standard and the beefier Ally X, these devices promise to run Windows games from various platforms like Steam and Battle.net. They boast impressive specs, including AMD Ryzen processors and ample storage. Microsoft is also partnering with Roblox for optimized handheld play. Available in numerous countries, these gadgets aim to blend the best of Xbox and Windows, offering a truly immersive gameplay experience. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that indeed.
Cheers.
So in June, this October felt like ages away, didn't it? But it's now literally only next week. It's coming.
I just don't have the craving that you do for handheld devices.
Really, it's a format I prefer to play in. You know, it means you can sit on the sofa with your family and look up at them occasionally when they're talking.
They have no idea what you're doing. No idea what you're playing on. I understand. But it feels to me like the Switch 2 is the perfect device for me, right? Like it is portable mostly at home. On the occasions that I want to do that, someone else wants the big TV, I can do what you're talking about. And there are already too many games on the Switch 2 that I haven't played yet. What am I missing out on?
Well, the advantages of a Windows PC is that you have access to every game ever published on PC that can run it, rather than those that have been officially sanctioned on console. And that opens up, the opportunity to buy them often at cheaper prices and play them how you like. You can mod them as well, which you're not able to do on other consoles without explicit permission. But what it also opens up, though, of course, is the fact that your games don't run very well on them typically, or you have to lower the specs and make compromises in order to get some decent frame rates out of them. But that's the price you've got to pay, along with about $900.
But it sounds to me, as always, like that you do revel in buying these things and configuring them and getting them ready to run a piece of software, and maybe you spend more time doing that than you do actually playing the software itself.
Part of the fun, isn't it? Yes, I have installed the Xbox Full Gaming Experience. I did that a few days ago, and can confirm it does. It debloats some of Windows, makes things a little bit easier to access. But once you know that you can access them, you then go back to the Switch and carry on playing on that. So, job done. Shall we move on to July?
Yeah, you've managed to jump over the Randy Pitchford comments that were made about configuring hardware specification.
Well, yes, I'd be interested to know what he would make of handheld PC players, given that he seems to hate anybody, even if they've got like a 5080 graphics card. It's not good enough to run my well-optimized game.
Great. Okay, so should we move on to July 2025?
Let's do it.
Right. The drama of Build a Rocket Boy. Leslie Benzies, the former Rockstar North president, has allegedly pointed fingers at internal and external saboteurs for the rocky launch of Mind's Eye, the studio's debut game. This come amidst reports of mass layoffs affecting around 300 staff, including those at the newly acquired PlayFusion. Mind's Eye launch has been plagued by technical issues, prompting PlayStation to issue refunds, a move reminiscent of Cyberpunk 2077 fiasco. With dismal Metacritic scores and mostly negative Steam reviews, the studio is heartbroken but committed to improving player experience. The joys of games development.
It really, when you say something like that, Charles, it does ring truer than when Charlesbot says it.
That's only because I'm reading it really badly. I'm unable to beat my alter ego, your creation.
So this was the big news of July, the messy launch of Mind's Eye, which continues to have repercussions. The actor who played the main character, obviously I don't know who that is because I've not played it, was complaining, saying this week that was worried would never work in games again, having played the lead in Mafia 3 and now Mind's Eye. Hounded out of the games industry through no fault of his own. I don't believe that to be the case, but this was a troubled launch.
A troubled launch. How's it doing now?
I don't know. I think we all sort of shuffled away from it rather quickly.
And it's difficult, right? We've all been there, and a hard thing to know what to do next, right? People want you to make the best game, but also they love a little bit of drama. They love the opportunity to pile in on something, and there's always something more exciting around the corner. So once that's been the story, it's hard to recover from that.
Yes, difficult to see a way back. The current score on Steam is, they've reached the heady heights of mixed. But sure, from very, very quickly dropped off from their current their peak CCUs of 3,199. There are currently 15 people playing it right now.
Good luck to all of them.
Even we're beating the audience of Mind's Eye. Charles, shall we have our final news story? And we noticed this week in the recording of Charlesbot that for no apparent reason, at the end of one story, he just said cheerio right at the end. So could you end this story with a cheerio?
Absolutely. Where did he come up with cheerio from? I'd never say that.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
sue him.
August 2025. The long wait is over. Team Cherry has finally announced that Hollow Knight Silksong will grace our screens on the 4th of September 2025. The game will be available on a plethora of platforms, including PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC, and will join Xbox Game Pass on day one. Originally announced in 2019, the game has been the subject of much anticipation and speculation, with fans eagerly awaiting its release date. Fret not, as it will indeed launch on both the Nintendo Switch and its successor. Time to sharpen those digital swords, folks. Cheerio.
Wonderful. I wonder. So, what's going to happen now when we, after this? Let's train Charlesbot on the real Charles reading out Charlesbot's words and see what happens then. He will evolve. So, of course, Silksong, by far the biggest release of the year, certainly in the indie space. Were either of you impacted by it personally? Because a lot of people were moving their release dates and all of that sort of stuff. Did it affect either of you?
I was, I think my game Mindset came out around then, but it was in a very, very different space, right? It's a mobile game, and there was no question that we would be shuffling the release date around to do this. But I know a lot of people who did. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, we when we write our adventures, I don't think that it really matters if there is a game that's not a direct competitor. And frankly, even if there is a direct competitor, it boosts the whole genre. So, the interesting thing, of course, is when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, and whether there's going to be such a vacuum caused. Maybe that would be a good time to release a game, because anybody who doesn't want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 will be looking for other titles. It's all interesting stuff.
You heard it here first. Charles is going to launch his next adventure on May the 26th, 2026. Charles, thank you so much for joining us. Lovely to see you. Lovely to hear from you. How can people follow your work, and when are you going to be talking about whatever you're up to next?
Yeah, well, very soon. We are very proud to have a Switch 2 kit, and are working very hard on games for that. And new games, and please invite me back when I can talk about our next projects, which will be really exciting.
We'll do, Charles. Best of luck with it. Can we invite you down, and can you bring your Switch kit? He's gone before I could ask him.
I'm back.
You bring a Switch kit, because we're not allowed one.
Oh no. Is that why you looked both surprised and shocked at the same time, Simon?
Yes. Apparently there aren't enough to go round, but you've got one. So anyway, right. Best of luck with it, Charles.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Simon. Thanks, Steve.
Hope you get well soon. Love you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Love you both.
That was the news with Charlesbot.
One life left. Video game news with
Me, Charlesbot 1.1.
You are watching One Life Left live on twitch.tv/Yogscast. And I'm having fun, Simon. Are you having fun?
Good. Yes. It's both exciting and terrifying. It's nice having people in our ear, isn't it? I wonder if could everybody else hear what Charles just said? Effing and jeffing, honestly, showing his true personality. It's been confirmed that you couldn't hear him, actually, but that's quite right, because otherwise we'd be hauled off the internet. It's not true. He was asking whether he should hang around, is what he was doing. But thank you for joining us, Charles.
If you are watching us live right now on twitch.tv/Yogscast, be aware that you are watching a One Life Left and Pickaxe exclusive. We don't know yet whether we're going to bundle this up into a podcast, but if it continues to go like last year's went, then probably not.
Probably not, no. Good, but we do have a packed show, and we're already behind schedule, so we should probably crack on. I've lost the running order. I forget what we would say at this point in order to let Pierre know what's going on.
Well, typically, after the news, we go into the letters at that point. I'm not sure if that's the case on your running order, because we've got so many guests that, we have to shuffle things around a bit. Also, it's an hour and a half. Usually we fit into about 59 minutes. So,
We have the space to recline and stretch our legs, don't we?
Right now.
But we shouldn't do that, should we? We should. I believe we're bringing our first guest into the show, and we're delighted to be joined by Stefan Senior from Good View Games. Hello, Stefan.
Wait. There.
Hello.
Stefan, lovely to see you. I say see you. I've now lost you on my window. I don't know if you're... There you are. There you are. Look at you. No, lovely to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
Welcome to the show. So, full disclosure, Stefan is working with us. My day job is looking after Yogscast games, and one of the games that we're publishing very soon, a game we're super proud of, really excited to get out there, is a game called Dice-A-Lot, a game that when I first saw it, I typed on the internal Discord because it was so up our street. I took a picture of the stand and I said, these guys are flirting with us.
Now, Simon, was this
yes?
Was this on the time that I saw it for the first time as well?
Yep.
Yes,
it was. Because we were both there, and I know what you were like. You were going to go and tell your friends at Devolver to publish it.
No, I'm just thinking. It must have been quite difficult for them to flirt with you, given what that guy was wearing.
I think that was part of the attraction, to be honest.
Well, indeed. I become particularly attracted to things I can't get at. And if you're in a suit of armour, I'm coming for you. We've got a trailer to introduce the game, haven't we? Are we going to roll that now? Look at that. Only 2 and a bit weeks to go. That's Dice-A-Lot, coming out on October the 9th, being made by the brilliant team at Good View Games. Stefan, do you want to give us a quick introduction to the game?
Sure. It's a roguelite dice builder based around a very old, pretty simple medieval dice game that me and my friends developed a love for in our youth. And it's always a pleasure to find the occasional strange person who's also played this game prior to Kingdom Come Deliverance or anything like that. And yeah, it's full of Arthurian goodness, lots of silly characters, lots of dice rolling, lots of numbers going up. And that's about it.
So how did you discover the game in the first place? Like, are you from medieval times?
I wish. The suit of armor would indicate otherwise, but sadly not. I think actually my brother got it bought for him as a Christmas gift when we were children, and it was one of those things that just sat on a cupboard getting dust for a while, and then we decided to finally crack it out. And then I think really what it was is you can play it with 6 dice. That's all you need, and it's simple enough that I've played it with my in-laws' grandparents. I've played it with incredibly young children. I've played it with people who have never played dice games before. And that accessibility is what I really like about playing it in person, because I've never found, even the people who are the most game and rule averse that I know, were still able to enjoy a good game of Farkle. And me and my friend, my co-developer Good View Games had said that we should always make a Farkle roguelite one day. And then, we ended up doing it, luckily for us.
So can you explain the core, the rules of Farkle as they stood before we made it better?
In the simplest terms, you basically roll dice looking for combinations of scoreable dice, and then you take some, and then you keep rolling. And essentially, if you score more as you keep rolling, but also the chance that you will lose everything increases the more you roll. So it's a gambler's fallacy kind of game. You basically have to know when to quit while you're ahead, which is also why, with fairly simple rules, it's still like a really enjoyable, engaging game, both in person and Dice Lot, our better version, of course, because so it has this kind of core feature to it.
I'm a huge fan of push your luck games, and I've not played Kingdom Come Deliverance. Played dice games previously, but the version of Farkle I played was on the Playdate a couple of years ago, was where it first came out. Yes, I forget what that version's called, but yeah, really appealed to me, this idea of knowing when to stop. But you've combined it with a sort of battle system and then this roguelike system. So do you want to explain how the core rules and gameplay of Farkle have been evolved?
Yeah, so initially we didn't really have a great plan. We basically just tried to recreate Farkle digitally and then figured we'd kind of go from there. But through a little bit of playtesting and evolution, we kind of ended up with something that's a bit more in the realm of your like Slay the Spires, Card Battlers kind of thing, where we kind of aim it all towards like a one-on-one bout between Guinevere, the main character, the player character, and a variety of strange foes. But to the actual base game itself, we basically just augmented it by adding kind of our version of relics, which are vassals, and also quest dice, which are will modify your game as you play, as you roll. Your quest dice will activate; they will do different things. But the kind of unique part that we like about it is the quest dice have a multitude of faces. So you may get, you may buy a quest dice that augments your score in a certain way or another way, and you roll, and you're hoping that you get the type of augmentation that you want, but you might get a different one. And then you kind of have to play around that or re-roll it, or we tried to add kind of as much game into the system as possible. But RNG is still ultimately the boss of the whole game. So everything is determinate on that one way or another.
Can I ask a question about the sort of development process of this? Because it strikes me as a very, very simple core idea, but the sort of thing that you discover more about as you build the game and as you add pieces to it. How much of the development was planned in advance? The game design document was written and then you built that out, and how much of it you discovered along the path to where you are now?
Basically all of it. We basically discovered all of it on the way. We didn't really have a particularly robust plan at all. Well, I mean, in actuality, what really happened, we built a rough prototype of a sort of Farkle roguelite that was fine, but we didn't really have the time to turn it into anything decent. And then Balatro came out, and Dungeons & Degenerate Gamblers, and a handful of these other games that have this kind of these systems. We really liked the Jokers, the idea that and we had a kind of idea of having these extra dice, but in our initial version, you rolled them alongside the rest of your dice, but it never really sat quite right. And so we kind of, we really liked this idea. We combined that, and then we ended up with this thing that was sort of halfway between Farkle and Balatro, but that wasn't really enough. It still didn't really play particularly well. And also, me and my development partner are both like big storytellers, so we wanted to put a lot of like character into the game. And the best way to do that, I think, was to have like enemies, essentially, that tell the story of the world and also give the player context for what they're doing. It's a bit more interesting. You start to, because they are somewhat unique, because they have different abilities depending on sort of what point of the game you find them in, like that idea of coming up against the same enemy that you fought previously and being like, oh, I remember this guy and he did this to me and now I have to blah blah blah, is more is more exciting. But in terms of like, I mean, we never had a game design document. We the player's health is still described as hands, I think, in the code. So I think the player has 150 hands at the beginning because it's just things that we kind of threw in later on when it just started to make more sense and the game kind of fleshed itself.
So here's the question that I struggle with when I'm making games like that, which is, how do you know when you're done? If it's so fun to keep adding things, then at some point you've got to draw a line. Where is that line?
I mean, thankfully for us, someone else gave us a release date that we have to meet. I feel if that had not happened, we probably would still be working on it. And there are a bunch of features, a bunch of extra bits and bobs that we want to add that hopefully we can do kind of post-release. But I think it's like, even though the decisions are ours, it does kind of feel at this point like the game kind of built itself. Like we were playing things, then it seemed like such an obvious. Again, like the best example of this is the player. The player did not have a health pool. The enemy had a health pool, and that was still the objective, was to reduce the enemy HP to 0. But the player just had a set amount of hands to do that in, and after a while, it just felt so strange that you were hitting the enemy, but they weren't hitting you back. And they weren't really doing anything. They were just kind of like a box. And then, it starts to make sense to, maybe we should give the player health. And then how does that work? And, now the player can heal because it's not hands anymore. It's a health pool. And then from there, then we have healing. We have the ability to increase your max HP, like all this extra stuff. It's very basic, gamey concepts, but they were really straightforward and obvious. And I don't think that has happened as much towards the end of the game. So I think for us, we're comfortable with where it's at. But it is a difficult question of like, I think also the real question we ask ourselves more often is like, how much are we going to destabilize the stuff we already have, basically, by adding X or Y feature? Like this idea might be great, but is it going to, or more poignantly perhaps, I always find that if we add something, like we added the ability to re-roll quest dice in their frames in the top of the game, and we hadn't had that for a lot of the game. So a lot of the game is built around you not being able to do that. But then obviously we add it, and it feels really natural, and it feels great, and it makes the game better. But now we kind of have to retroactively fix a bunch of stuff that And if we'd had this thing from the start, we would have designed some different things to kind of really take advantage of it. And so I think that's the stopping point.
And that is game development. It is a future of regretting the past version of you.
Yeah, basically. That's some experience.
Is it difficult sort of play testing a game that relies exclusively on random numbers?
Yes and no, I guess.
Because it's tricky, isn't it? Because even though it is completely random, sometimes you'll sort of you'll blame the random numbers as opposed to your own strategy and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's a difficult thing to let the player control, i.e., shaping what random numbers can do in a game that is completely random. I don't know. I find that sort of.
I mean, really, like the hardest part, obviously, balancing. I think balancing any game like this is difficult. Having where you have like a bunch of different variables and you can stack them, you can build them, they do XYZ, blah blah blah. Like all of this stuff, I think is always difficult to balance. The thing that I've been kind of trying to get rid of. It's funny because we have one incredibly dedicated tester who is brilliant at finding the most direct route to victory, and basically all he does is sends me these things and then I nerf them because that's the best way to kind of slow things down for us. But I think anything like this requires a lot of balancing. The balancing, when we went into the game, because the core principle of Farkle is very simple. I don't want this to sound like we haven't balanced the game, because we have. It's something I think about a great deal. But it's because the fun is in the rolling of the dice and the picking of the dice and the can I push my luck, etc. I don't think we need to lean as hard on have I built the perfect build, have I micromanaged all of my numbers to make the best numbers. It should we want the game to feel more like you're kind of making the best of the situation rather than like, because I play a lot of roguelites, and especially ones that involve creating a player build with various aspects of doing that. And for me, the when you start getting through a build and you realize that you're missing some core component of it, and actually it's not viable anymore, and you kind of know that your run is doomed, or you just quit. I try to avoid that as much as possible. So instead of trying to create a bunch of like, not preset builds, because I think they're always bad, but more deterministic builds, instead we're trying to create a thing where we just kind of throw a whole bunch of stuff at the player at various points, and the player just kind of grabs what they want. And if you can make a build out of that, great. If you make half a build out of that, great. If you can't make any build out of that, I mean, when we initially developed the game, in order to test it, we had the game just give you 6 random quest dice at the start, and that was some of the most fun the game has been, because it just gives you random stuff, and then you just kind of have to make the best out of it. And I think that's like where the game shines. So as much as we are balancing all of these individual things so that it doesn't, it's not going too far in either direction, it definitely feels like the core kind of excitement, the moment of like, am I gonna farkle, like that still happens regardless of how good or bad the build is.
Well, I always think that the sign of a good idea is how much people stick to it, and even in its infancy, we were sharing this with the Yogscast creators, and some of them spent hours and hours with just the demo. So even at its core, it's a fantastic idea. Really excited about getting it out there. October the 9th. Wishlist it now so that you don't forget. It's not you, Stefan. I think it's already in your library. But thanks so much for joining us. Yes, really good to see you, and excited about getting it out there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to talk about it. And yeah, we're very excited for release. Please wishlist.
Yes, come on, October the 9th.
You are listening and watching One Life Left on twitch.tv/Yogscast. We also might be a podcast. If you want to listen to One Life Left generally, and we have been doing this for 20 years, so you've got a lot of content to get through. You can find the radio show at onelifeleft.com. You can join our Discord at hello.onelifeleft.com. And you can interact with us there. We do record our Monday show live on Discord, so you can find the stream there. So please do join us. Simon, what's next in your running order?
I believe that we are going to the letters section. So as Steve mentioned, we hang around on the Discord. If you wanted to watch the Nintendo Directs with us and see what we think about Nintendo letting you buy copies of your games again, please join us there. Or if you've got more considered views, thoughts and opinions, you can drop them in the mailbag there or email us directly. We have had a decent number of letters. We're running quite far behind, I think, on the original running order. So let's rattle through them now. Let's deal with letters.
Email, messages, and forward BCC. One Life letters.
Thank you so much for your correspondence this week. We have had a mix of letters on the email and Discord. Well, let's go through them. Hi, Steve and Simon. Thank you for the podcast. Love how you guys manage to be both about video games and somehow not about video games at the same time. It's always fun listening to your mix of insight, silliness, and warmth. I have a few random questions I'd love to hear your thoughts on if they fit into a future episode. Steve, question number 1. Do you think gaming communities are healthier now, or has the scale of online play made it harder to keep things positive?
I think they are terrible now, but there are still small communities you can find, and you can find love for yourself and for the games that you love in them, and that's what you should be doing. Seek out small communities around the things that you are passionate about.
What makes a video game discussion worth listening to, even if the listener hasn't played or will never play the game being talked about?
The answer to that is personal stories, right? If you can find a story that communicates some kind of emotion around that, rather than just recounting a list of things that have happened, then you can connect with someone. If you recount a list of things that have happened to you in a game, it's just like telling someone a dream, which is boring. But if you can explain why that game and that situation is personal and funny or emotional, whatever it is to you, why it means something to you, then that is something for someone to connect with.
Which video character would be the absolute worst podcast guest and why?
I think you tried to answer this one on Monday, didn't you?
I did.
And the answer was Randy Pitchford.
Thanks for making something so unique and entertaining week after week. Regards, Husseini Kamal. Thank you for the letter, Husseini. We continue. Dear team, and chance to be a fine thing, SSG. SSG means super special guest. And actually, we've had one and we've got another one coming. Long time listener, first time letter writer. As we've all gotten surprisingly older over the past 10, 15, coming up for 20 years, it's been nice that gaming with kids has become an important topic on the show. While I do still have some prejudices about kids and video games, I'm also horrified watching my 8-year-old failing to use dual stick controls whenever one crosses our path. What is a gentle introduction to 3D gaming that is patient with its players and enjoyable for the child to play and me to watch? JH. Yeah. I was going to read out the PS, but we'll come back to that.
Okay, my answer to this is the same as it was yesterday's Little Gator game, which I think is a really, really gentle and kind introduction to 3D controls. As you have mentioned to me in the past, the most important thing is to reduce the threat while keeping those controls the same as they'll have to use for video games forever from that point. I started, incidentally, with Monkey Ball, which I thought would be a great introduction to those 3D controls, but turns out to be an absolute nightmare because you don't have control over the camera. And now, age 6, she still doesn't think she can control the camera.
Yes, my comment was, and it's unusual to hear a positive comment about Roblox, but my daughter has been really enjoying Roblox in a safe, contained environment, enjoying the mini games there, and they don't come with any pressure apart from spend your Robux, but you can lock all that stuff down and make sure that they aren't accidentally buying ridiculous consumables. Thanks for the letter, John Hill. We'll come back to your PS later. From the Discord, dear team and SSGs, QA in video games seems to always get the short end of the stick. Recently, a game I play released a DLC to generally poor reviews due to bugs. Crusader Kings 3. To which the company responsible trotted out their QA lead to write quite a lengthy apology. This isn't an isolated event with QA rightly or wrongly getting blamed for any poor release. I can't help but feel this is unfair, as from my experience, it's usually QA trying to stop guff from coming out with higher management making the ultimate decision. Despite the flack they get, they still run into walls 7 hours a day so we can play our games mostly bug-free. My question is, who do you think the unsung heroes of video game development are? Hope you are enjoying the stream. That's from Ross, who adds he's not a QA tester, lol.
I mean, QA is the obvious answer to this that everyone would give. I mean, the second order answer is everybody, because teams generally don't get enough credit. Sometimes you see people stepping up to collect their BAFTAs or their Game Awards, the game directors, the creative directors, whoever it is. But truthfully, they are rarely the person who has put in the most into the game, and rarely the person who's made the difference as well. I would say that the single role that makes the most difference that people don't talk about enough is a producer. A good producer has always been on all of the titles that I've worked on, the difference between a game succeeding and a game failing. It's someone who can look at the whole of the game, like the creative content, but also the production content, the ability to finish this thing, understand every little part, and also have a grasp on which bits you can cut without damaging the whole, and force the team to make hard decisions. I've always had tense relationships with producers when I've been on a project, because usually I'm the lead creative and I'm saying, I want it to be this, and I want it to be this, and I want it to be this. And they say, well, the good ones say, you can't have all of those. Choose between this and this. And I go in a sulk, but I make that choice and the game is better for it. The weaker ones let me do whatever I want, and the game always ends up worse because each of those aspects ends up unfinished and poor.
Dear team, surely the big and finally from the Nintendo Direct that was actually a new announcement was Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Having never really been a Nintendo person before the Switch, I've been playing the GBA The Blazing Blade recently and finding it a much less frustrating experience today than the other Switch Online classics I've tried to revisit. Is Charlesbot the only Fire Emblem fan on the team? Thanks for many years of great radio shows. All the best, James.
Love Fire Emblem. Can't wait for the new one. You're right, that was the most important part of the Direct.
Team and SSG, this summer I was lucky enough to take the family to the very new and very exciting Epic Universe and Super Nintendo World. I've never been a massive Nintendo guy, but it was amazing. Super busy and super hot, sure, but super amazing. Everything from Mario Kart to the minigames, and we especially loved the Toadstool Cafe. Will any of the One Life Left team be making the trip across the pond for the experience anytime soon? Keep up the good work, Matt.
I can't imagine going to America anytime soon. And oh my God, Simon, have you seen the GDC news?
We're changing. Yeah, maybe you're changing, but you're not moving, are you? Why don't you change cities, change countries?
The only thing everyone wants, we're changing, guys. It's going to happen. Oh, what are you doing? We're calling ourselves a festival of gaming.
And they've kept square brackets around it as if it's a name to be dropped in later.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, not going to America anytime soon, but we are going to Japan, and maybe we'll go on that kind of adventure there. I hope so.
Finally, hello team and SSG. Wayne Rooney attributes Manchester United's success in the 2000s to playing SOCOM with his teammates on PSP. So my question is, which sports team would you make play which PSP game to improve their performance? J Parks. Thanks, J Parks.
Have you got any answers to this, Simon?
My answer on which PSP game I should play is Everybody's Golf or Hot Shots Golf if you're in America. Just play that all the time, forever.
No. Which PSP games should people play to improve their performance? Well, I would recommend, Simon, the Manchester United team play Lumines. Because Lumines, a block-dropping puzzle, probably has the same effect on your brain as Tetris, which you should play after undergoing traumatic events in order to stop. And they've been through a lot of trauma recently, and it's been very funny. Also, Simon, I looked into this quite a lot. I would recommend Lewis Hamilton play Outrun 2006, because then he'd learn how to drive a Ferrari properly.
God, this is good stuff, Steve.
Wait.
Go on.
Wait. And then I was like, Half Minute Hero, a game that you worked on. There's got to be material there. What sport can you do in 30 seconds? I looked it up. It turns out the answer is the 300 meters, which isn't very common. People don't run the 300 meters very often, but it turns out that the world record is about 30 seconds. Plus a tiny fraction more. And imagine if you could be the half-minute hero by breaking the world record for the 300 meters. Well, the British record stands just outside that, currently held by Dougie Walker, the men, and Lena Nielsen, in the women's set in 2025. If they played half-minute hero, maybe they'd go a little bit better, a little bit faster. And that is the answer to James Parker's brilliant question. If you've got a brilliant question for One Life Left and you'd like to hear us take that question on, or if you just want to chat to us, you can get in touch with us by dropping a note in the Discord, hello.onelifeleft.com, or emailing
team@onelifeleft.com.
You're still listening to One Life Left. We're still on twitch.tv. We're here for another 26 minutes. I think we've got another guest coming.
We do. Before we move on to that, we did offer a prize for the best letter of the week. They were all great. Thank you very much. You're all winners. But Ross, I'll be getting in touch with you. You can pick any Yogscast game of your choosing on Steam. Congratulations. Yes, but you're right. It is time for another guest, isn't it, Steve? Who do we have knocking at our door?
Well, it's someone that I know very well, and you know very well as well. And it's someone who was complaining to me personally that they hadn't been invited on the radio show. And they listed a number of guests who had.
Did they?
They did.
Right.
But they hadn't. And on the same day, you suggested we bring them on for this. And I suggested it to them, and then it all seemed to work out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Harry Homewood. Hopefully. There he is. Look at that. Boo. Look, we caught him unawares. Hello, Harry.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Go on then. Well, you're so desperate to be on the show.
You've got 20 minutes.
What are you going to do?
Take it away.
What are you going to do? It's lovely. Lovely, really lovely to see you, Harry. Harry is from Magic Cave. Full disclosure, he works with Steve Curran. They are colleagues, friends, colleagues, occasionally lovers. Let me see, Harry. So you are right. You've not been on the show. I've not seen your background before. So you've got some art and some musical instruments. How many guitars do you own?
I own 4 guitars, including bass.
How many guitars? How many guitars does someone need?
You need about 4, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah.
And you've got them.
Yeah, I've got exactly the right number of guitars.
Fair enough. What a stupid question, Harry. We've all known you for years. I think did I first meet you when you were doing the PlayStation game Rats?
Rat Attack, it ended up.
Rat Attack.
Yes, indeed, with Mindscape / Mattel in the 90s.
Whatever happened to them?
To Mattel, I don't know.
Well, whatever happened to Mindscape?
They got bought by Mattel. And and I read recently it's regarded as one of the worst acquisitions in company history.
Well, congratulations,
It's
Mattel.
entirely my fault, and I apologise to any Mattel shareholders out there from the 90s.
Excellent. And then we often smile when we think about that particular moment in your career when you invented motion gaming with Game Track.
But I can't take credit for that. Elliot, as you know.
No,
Elliot
but you were working. You were part of that.
I was part of the dream. The dream
Well,
that,
exactly.
Was slightly eclipsed by Nintendo later on. And
so this was a series of video games, console games, and maybe PC that came with a physical sports instrument that you then operated with wires. And it was innovative. It was better than it sounds. And it was good fun. Like the golf game, like great. You know, you're properly swinging a golf. And then Nintendo rock up with the Wii.
I know.
And you're like,
Yeah, how about
It's
that?
interesting that you begin with these these claims for things that Harry's invented, because the things that he's claimed he's invented to me.
okay.
Well, the first one isn't an invention. Apparently he's one of the biggest recording artists of all time.
This is true. In the mid-90s.
How do you measure big?
Well, it's not strictly
size?
scientific, my method here, but I wrote the music that came on the original PlayStation demo disc, right? And I reckon there was like 100 million or more of those sold. So my thinking was, I looked up about 25 years ago what was the biggest selling artist of the time, and it was Michael Jackson's Thriller was the biggest album. And I don't think there were as many copies of that disc as there were of the PlayStation demo disc. So by my reckoning, that made me, at least briefly, the biggest recording artist in the world.
Right. Look
Piece
at
of
what
music
happened to
that took
him.
me 25 minutes to write.
So
Is that true?
that's claim to fame 1. Claim to fame 2, even better, I think. You ever played a basketball video game, Simon?
I have played a basketball video game, yes.
Who hasn't? Basketball games wouldn't be anything without the audio component of that, and of course the most iconic thing, sound of sneakers squeaking on a gym floor.
Now I have claimed to Steve that I invented this. Again, there are a few disclaimers. I never actually checked any older video games than the one that I did. So it's possible that someone else did it.
This all sounds like is this how you engage in courtship, Harry? So how did you meet your partner?
I just make grandiose claims.
Was it more lies?
Well, he invented the PlayStation. I did all sorts of internet-y things in sort of 99, 2000.
You did, didn't you? Freeloader.
Freeloader.com.
Yeah. Wow. You've been around, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
But you've
33 years in the business, Simon. Much like yourself.
Oh, well, I am a fan of the unsubstantiated claim. When I was in my previous job, we won the 3 UK publishing awards, Tiger, MCV and Develop. We held them in the same calendar year. And our claim was that we were the first people to win the historic Triple Crown of UK Publishing Awards. But it wasn't our job to check whether that was true.
Oh, good.
It's not up to us to check, actually.
No, exactly.
Yes.
I mean, Simon, can we talk
well,
about what used to happen when we used to claim that we were the nation's favourite video game radio show with no substantiated evidence for that? We had an actual complaint, didn't we?
We did have a complaint, didn't we?
We had a complaint from a man who got so angry at our response to that complaint that he threatened to push me off a building.
Oh my goodness! Was he
It's
a
true.
rival
It's true enough.
broadcaster?
He was a rival broadcaster, and he called Steve the worst word, the Champions League swear word. He said, and I was stood next. He goes, "That's Steve Curran. He's a right." And then he used the word. I had to look it up. I had to look it up, and I just went, because I don't think he realised that I was on the radio show as well. So yeah, and we were quite high up. So
Anyway,
no,
You're my favourite
Yeah.
radio
but anyway,
anyway,
all that stuff you've done, Harry, was inconsequential to what you've achieved most recently, isn't it?
It is, and I have to really pass the credit over to my colleague Steve, who invented what is destined to become the biggest and most successful puzzle game in the history of puzzle games, including Tetris. Probably already is. I haven't checked the data recently.
Did you write the music for this one as well?
I did. In fact, I wrote it 12 years ago. The music.
Did you? Oh,
for a different game.
Got the
never
music
came out.
knocking about. Dreadful.
I had a bit
Right,
knocking about, and I brought it back. I jazzed it up a bit, and it works a treat on this game.
I can't imagine what that jazzing was like. Anyway, should we introduce the game for our listeners and watchers, viewers?
Yes. Am I doing that?
No, I believe we have a video.
Oh, even better. I mean, that was a treat, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Great music.
Yeah.
Oh, and look, and what look.
Actually, that's not the
incredible
music
game
I wrote.
design.
Someone else made that. I can't claim credit for that.
Right, so that was Mindset Go, everybody, which was designed by a young, upcoming, hot game designer, Steve Curran, I believe. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the show.
it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
As a producer on it, I want to get to the bottom. Given your how you described your relationship, a good relationship with the producer, somebody's been saying no to you, have they?
Well, truthfully, Harry has taken the producer role on the project for the last sort of year and a half after he came on board and saw that we would just keep adding things to it. And ideally, in my world, never ship anything, because then you can talk about how you're making something brilliant, but you don't have to see whether people actually like the thing. And you certainly don't have to deal with App Store reviews or that kind of thing. But Harry's been a jack of all trades on the project, not just a producer, but also not just a sound designer, but he's also been coding on it and adding a bit of design to it as well. So
I see.
really,
Was that Harry? Why don't you tell us? So introduce the concept of Mindset Go.
So Mindset Go is a game of observation and logic, and it's quite difficult to describe without talking about Venn diagrams, which is not a sexy subject, but it's a wonderful game that is based around Venn diagrams. And the idea is that you have shapes, and you have to slide those shapes into a circle, and the circle has a rule. The rule might be yellow shapes, or it might be squares, or it might be anything like that. And to begin with, the game, you're just sliding through, you're trying to work out what's the rule. The circle has a number in it. It might have the number 5 in it, and that means 5 shapes that obey the rule of that circle, might be yellow, need to go into that circle. And then it gets interesting when we start intersecting 2 circles together. So one circle might be yellow, one circle might be squares. So all the squares need to go in one circle, all the yellow things need to go in the other circle. But in the middle, go the yellow squares. And it's as simple as that, but it's a completely new kind of puzzle that hasn't existed before. And people are absolutely loving it. We prototyped it a couple of years ago, and genuinely I have played it almost every day since, for fun and not for work. And that's never happened to me before. I know it sounds like I'm just saying that, but it genuinely is a game that I really, really love. And it's been brilliant working on it. And it's really nice having it out and seeing that other people are playing it and telling us that they've got, I think it's been out a month, and people are telling us that they've got 30-day streaks and they've played it every day. And that's lovely.
Right, lovely stuff. If only there was a way of illustrating how the core concept works. Is there something we could look at, Steve?
Well, you're in luck, Simon, because over the last 24 hours, in a bit of a panic, I've designed an exclusive version of Mindset Go.
Okay.
For today and today only. Now, I should caveat is that this is currently running at steecurran.com/yogs, and you can play along at home as well at that URL. You can also potentially play at mindset.game/yogs, but that version of the site was blocked on the Yogscast computers. And I can only assume...
it also has...
I can I can only assume that this game has been so disruptive to Yogscast, the people who work there, that they've had to put a company block on the website. So you can find it at mindset.game/yogs, or you can go to steecurran.com/yogs if your company too has blocked the site. But this is the game. So as it says, Mindset is a game about observing similarities between shapes, or in this case, logos. Yeah. You'll see below there are 10 logos. Now, one of those should be familiar to you, Simon.
Yep, it's the One Life Left logo.
It's the One Life Left logo that it's pointing at right there, and it's telling us drag that into the circle, and as we do so, that number will drop. Good start. The number in the circle shows how many more shapes you need to slide in, and it's telling us up there in the clue up there, One Life Left. It's telling us which shapes we need to slide in. So we'll slide in this one, which also says One Life Left on it. We'll slide in this one, and then we've solved this Venn diagram.
Okay.
Congratulations, you've solved your first mindset. Let's move on to puzzle 2. Here, we've only got one hint, and this is where mindset really comes into its own, when you've got 2 circles, because the intersection is everything. What we need to do is solve this puzzle. We need to find 6 things that match the left thing. We can see those are going to be the Yogscast shapes. I'm really, really sorry for the butchery I've done to the kind of Yogscast forcing that in there.
Yeah, the
really broken style guides all over the place. But
exactly, the lawyers are watching.
It's for the benefit of this puzzle, and I will be happy to make a bespoke one with the Yogscast logo at some point in the future. So we can see the 6 Yogscast ones, and we've got these here, so we can sort these out down here. Go, okay. Because we don't know what goes in here. There's 7 of something. Now, can you see 7 of anything down here, Simon?
There's 7 things that have been crossed out, aren't there? Are there?
Are there 7 things that have been crossed out?
No, there's not. There's more.
No, there's more than that. So what you've got to do is start looking at our 6 over here. So we know that in this 6, 2 of them sit over here, and 4 of them have this aspect that there are 3 of here as well. So we'll start looking at these. What have these got in common? Is there 3 of something here? 3 of something. Yeah. Okay. So the answer is that there is 1 cross on 4 of these and 1 cross on 3 of these. So if we put these in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we put these ones in here, and the ones that have 1 cross go in here, and then we've solved this puzzle.
Lovely.
On the left
rule was 1 cross. Well done.
On the left, it's everything with Yogscast. On the right, it's everything with 1 cross, and in the middle, we've got 1 cross and Yogscast. And so we move on to puzzle 3. Can you solve this one on your own? What are there 4?
Let's just say yes, because I feel like that we're wasting Harry here.
I'm absolutely captivated, Simon.
I'm captivated by the presentation of a puzzle that he's watched.
I've never seen Steve talk about Mindset Go before, so this is a pleasure.
So sorry, let me just... actually, you know what? I'm not going to solve it. I don't need to solve it.
We're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
So it's available now on iOS and Android, and you can play versions of it on the web, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mindset.game. If you just go to mindset.game, you'll be able to play the web version. It also links through to the app stores.
How difficult has it been introducing the concept of a totally new puzzle?
Hellish.
Right. It's
what we found is you show someone one circle, it's very straightforward. People can drag things into it. As soon as you combine the two together, if people haven't grasped the rules by that point, then it can be frustrating for them. And people have a kind of TikTok level attention span of 15 seconds or whatever. And if you can imagine trying to teach someone how to solve a cryptic crossword or a Sudoku in 15 seconds before they want to move on to the next thing, that's the difficulty. So we spent a lot of the last year. I mean, the game's been running for a couple of years. We prototyped it a long time ago. We had a launchable version a year ago, I'd say. But we were finding too many people were stumbling along the way. So we built a whole kind of like Candy Crush like map thing that takes you through loads of levels. It's now got 1,000 kind of preset puzzles in it, as well as daily puzzles like Wordle that you can play every day. But now it does a much, much better job of explaining what it is you do, and it eases you into that process really smoothly. And if you want to skip ahead and play the daily puzzle, you can, but we wanted to make sure everybody kind of understood it. But that's been really the biggest challenge, is making sure everyone understands how to play it. And I think we've pretty much cracked it now.
Yeah, I would say Sudoku is the most relevant point there, because pretty much everyone gets a Sudoku now, but it's an alien grid the first time you look at it. But it's hit this kind of level of cultural awareness that very few people are scared of a Sudoku, in the same way as no one's scared of a crossword. And what we want to be is in that place where people know how to solve a mindset, just because so many people around them know how to solve a mindset and it's just a thing. But getting there, that is the challenge.
Wonderful. Well, I've certainly been enjoying playing it. I've been annoyed by how clever it is, as Steve knows. I've seen it over those years, and I've been annoyed what a good idea it is. And I've had very few of those, and certainly never as good as Mindset. So great to see it out in the open. Wish you all the success. Harry, you've been a great guest. Why has it taken you so long to come on the show?
Because no one's ever asked me on the show before, Simon.
We'll give you the keys.
Like knowing
Harry.
you since 1997 or something.
Yeah, come on whenever you want.
Well, it would be. It's been a pleasure. It's been lovely to see you.
How can people follow your work?
I think, I'm still on Blue Sky, so they can find me on Blue Sky, or they can find me on LinkedIn or other exciting social channels. If there's just a business interest and they're not trying to sell me something.
We'll see you on Blue Sky, Harry. Right, thank you so much for joining us.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Lovely to see you guys.
And then he's hoiked off. I sort of quite like that.
I do too.
Get out.
Right. This is the last bit of the show, last bit of our third show on twitch.tv/Yogscast. I think it's been super fun, Simon. I've really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I was quite nervous about how it would work remotely, because normally we take the trip to Bristol and enjoy that. But doing it in the home environment, I felt, I've been more comfortable. I haven't had to put any trousers on. So,
well, it's gone well because of those voices in our ear. We're very, very grateful to the team. And I wish we were in Bristol. Bristol. Maybe next year. But this has been super fun as well. Anyway, it's not quite over. It's not quite over, is it?
No. So every week we do news, features, sometimes letters, guests. We always end with the reviews.
Simon, what have you been playing this week?
Well, Steve, let me shock you. I continue to play Mindset Go, which I very much enjoy. That got me thinking about other sort of daily puzzle games that I enjoy. And I've stumbled across a game called, which is available at cluesbysam.com. It's an online logic puzzle in which you are given a grid of individuals, and you have to identify who is criminal or innocent depending on the clue. Everybody within the grid cannot lie, and there's logic. You can derive logic from everything that they say, and it's just great fun. There's one puzzle a day. You can pay for extra puzzle packs, which I've not done yet. Got a decent tutorial, but basically, yes, somebody will say something. They might say, Sue's neighbour is innocent, and that's quite straightforward, right? Because you find Sue, but then who is around Sue? You've got, because you can have 8 neighbours around one square on a grid, and then others will be more ambiguous. They will tell you how many are on a row, or how many are on an edge, or this, that, and the other. And by combining the fragments of information that you get from every clue that you get, you should be able to uncover the complete grid. It's free, it's online, it's great for a few minutes. I thoroughly recommend it. It's at cluesbysam.com. 7 out of 10.
I thought you were going to talk about the football chess puzzle that I saw recently. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that. No, that sounds good.
Now I'm going to have to Google football chess puzzle to find out what it's called.
You're broadcasting to the nation.
Football chess puzzle. It's a daily puzzle that is daily soccer chess puzzle. Here we go. Kickoff League. It's called kickoffleague.com. And every day there is a puzzle. You've got to work out how the goal was scored. Grid of pieces, chess pieces. They can all move the ball essentially in the way that the piece moves. So a bishop will move the ball in a diagonal. The knight will move it in an L shape. And you can either move or kick the ball. So by using the pieces that are already on this football pitch, you've got to efficiently move the ball into the goal. It's really smart. It tells you that, the score today was 3-1. And I really, really love the thinking behind it. Again, this daily puzzle genre is kind of the place where I work, so a little bit jealous when I saw it for the first time. But yeah, really, really love the conceit of mixing football and chess like that. 7 out of 10.
Is that your review, Steve?
It might as well be, because otherwise all I've been doing is playing Mindset Go, producing this Yogscast version of Mindset Go, and playing Mario Odyssey with my daughter, which continues to be an absolute joy. Beat the Luncheon World last night, and we've moved to Bowser's Kingdom. Very soon we'll be on the moon. Did you ever beat the dark side of the moon?
No. I've got that far twice and then realised it's too hard for me.
Right.
Or they're just trying to flog you amiibos, which I believe you can tap to get. Well, because that's how you're going to get through that bit, isn't it? By getting stars and bonuses, I think. I don't know. Left it there when it played something else. Good. I think that's the end of the show, Steve.
Certainly the end of the reviews. Do you have any amiibos?
I've got... Yeah, somewhere. I haven't tapped on. Yeah,
I've got two. I've got here they are. Yeah, I've got Pearl from
oh yeah,
from
right. Well,
from that game that I don't play because it makes me too cross. Splatoon 2.
Well, rip those open.
Do they do something?
Tap them on the dark side of the moon.
Do they help you?
They give you energy and stars.
I thought it had to be America. Okay. Well, you learn something every time you listen to One Life Left, and I hope
there we go.
You guys will listen to One Life Left, which you can do so by going to onelifeleft.com or joining us every week on our Discord. We record on Mondays. The show is broadcast as a podcast on Wednesdays. You can find the Discord at hello.onelifeleft.com.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for having us, Pickaxe.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for looking after us too. We've enjoyed it very much. But we will go back to our usual... We're being hoiked off. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. No. It's quite fine. No, good stuff. Right, thank you for your help with that. That went a lot smoother
thank you so much.
Than I would have thought. And that was more to do with our ability, not yours. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right, nice one. Thank you. Right, we'll see you next year.
Bye, guys.
See you later.